we're going to be recording this as we do always. We'll send it off to you. We're also going to be posting this in Mortgage Shots Kills. We started our coaching with Kills this last Monday, just yesterday, with very simple rudimentary stuff. It's calling clients, building a foundation. If you want to pick up that webinar, you can go ahead and pick that up on Kills. And that one's about an hour long. It's just a getting started with the official, this is, out of the blocks type of approach to our coaching, which is going to get much more sophisticated. And so what we're doing with our Tuesday sessions here is we're talking about things that are in part, mostly listing booster. We sprinkle some pre-app in here and just general sales nourishment as well. So that's been the idea of this, and we're going to continue doing this webinar. So today, Michael Fisher, him and his, guys over there, they figured out this really cool way to where you can have your pre-app 1003 pop up on your single property websites. And it's real simple integration here, and I think it's just clever as all damn hell, and something that I would certainly do, especially if you guys are using both Listing Booster and Pre-App 1003. It's just a great integration. So I don't want to, bog everybody down. So Michael, let's just get going.
Cool. All right.
Now, by the way, I'm not looking at your. Oh, there you go. Okay. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So just a quick reminder. You can find us in Kills Coaching. Go down here, subscribe. It'll take you over to the Facebook group after you subscribe. Some of the videos that we've done in the past few weeks are here recorded in replay format. Had a handful of folks reaching out to Brian and TJ and I asking where they all were. We've got them here in case you want to jump in and get some tips. Last week we talked a little bit about pre-app. Some folks had pre-app, but they were nervous to make the video. Some folks had the video and the pre-app, but they just didn't know how to integrate it to Listing Booster. And we wanted to get the message out there that this stuff is really not complicated at all. And I think many times I've talked to Brian and said, man, this is not a $30, $40, $50 piece of software. I mean, this thing really simplifies your life. I've talked to a ton of LOs. I know you have too, Brian, that just come back and say, man, this thing, out of all the software that I have, this is by far the most valuable. Would you agree, Brian?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, we hear that all the time. So this week, one of the folks that we network with quite a bit shared a little tip with us. And to be honest with you, he shared it with us last week. I just out there making hay, made some videos about how important it was to call clients. I literally just learned this morning. So I'm not the pro at this, but this is so darn cool that you guys can all pick this up in just a few minutes. So what it is just a shortcut where you can add a call to action at the bottom of your Listing Booster page, where when folks are looking at the site, they essentially get your link, and next thing you know, they're on your pre-app 1003. So the way you do this is through a service called Sniply. What you're going to do is you're going to find one of your agent's single property websites, and let's jump over here. We'll just find Jerry's. We're going to pull one of his sites, and then we're literally just going to put it over into this software called Sniply. So I'm just going to pull one of his listings, one of his current listings. So I go to my marketing tools, I go to my single property website, bam, I got my single property website here, and then I go over to a piece of software called Sniply. I got to create an account. It's a free account. If you want to do a lot of fancy things with it, you can pay up to $29 a month. I'm going to go to the dashboard in my Sniply account, and I'm going to plug in my single property website. And I'm going to create a snip. Really what this is doing is, like Brian said, it's just creating an integration so that once we pull up the single property website, we also have a call to action where folks can see the pop-up, see if you qualify to buy this home. So we literally just, and this of course is after you create an account. I don't want to slow you guys down, but we'll plug the single property website in here. We put our call to actions, like here I put see to qualify to buy this home, click here, and I put my forwarding address to my pre-app 1003 right here. Now on pre-app 1003, your address will be this ID right here that pulls up once you're registering your pre-app 1003 account. But what I did is I actually forwarded a domain. So if you look at my sniply account, my domain is mtfisherloans.com. I think it's a little easier if you buy a domain. You can text that back and forth, as well as the short code that you saved in pre-app 1003. So it's really that simple. Create your call to action, decide what you want your button to say, put your forwarding URL in, and click the snip button. And now when you go back to the single property website, you'll see that snip pulls in down below. So like I said, I learned how to do this literally in the last half hour. I haven't had time to upload my fancy photo yet. But yeah, I'm going to make sure.
You can put your profile in there too.
Yep, you can get your profile up in the Sniply. I don't want to bore you guys with that, but folks, click here, and hopefully, oh, I didn't save my URL. I didn't type it right. Snip. There we go. Cool. Cool. All right. Let's go back here. Bam. All right, now, once I've got my single property website properly snipped, and I got my little link down below, let's make sure that saves here. Might need to redo this. Snip. Okay. Let's save this guy. Cool. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take there. See it carried over. I'm going to take this and I'm going to use this instead of the single property website address. I'm going to use this address when I'm cutting and pasting on Facebook. So this particular property will opt in is in Canton, Michigan, and I know the agent that it's tied to looks like a new listing. So I'm going to go share this out and about. I don't know if he's got an open house, but I think one of the strategies we shared last week and the previous weeks was talking about open houses, posting open houses. The folks that showed us how to do this, that's really what they were using it on, was open houses. So this is a Plymouth Canton buy sell trade group, so I could put it here with the snip, or I can just go to the agents page, which I'll do right here. But notice what I'm pasting is the link that has the snip on it and not the single property website. Okay. So when I do it like this and save the snip link, when this agent shares across social media, what's going to pull up is not the single property website with the opt-in with no link below, but the link with the snip will pull instead. And that's what you want to do when you're using Sniply. So like I said, to me this is new. I've seen it, I've heard about it for a while. I haven't played around with it, but I have a handful of LOs that have been using this, and when they're sharing, they really like the fact that they've got an extra chance to opt in. Now I showed this to you, what, Brian, Friday last week, I think?
Yep.
The LO that showed this to us over the weekend took an extra $250,000 application just from adding that little Sniply link. He was sharing the property in groups. He did have the agent share it. It was part of the open house strategy, which I think we talked about in week 2 or week 3. But more importantly, he got a great application out of it. It sounded like a $260,000 or $270,000, 20% down kind of deal. So, so that's it, man. It's that simple.
Hey, Michael, where do I find Sniply at? Like, is it just sniply.com?
Yep, it's snip.ly.
www.snip.ly. Okay.
Yep.
And then get started for free here. Okay, I got you. And so, just to be clear on this, so what you're doing right here does not require any additional money. You can go ahead and get the pro version that does, I'm sure, a bunch of great stuff. But for this specific functionality, it's the free account, correct?
Correct. Yep. You can get an upgraded account where you're going to get thousands and thousands of clicks and snips. I think this limits you to the number of clicks that you can get, and I think that at some point you may want to sign up for the $20 to $30 a month account if you're using this a lot. But what we really liked was the fact that it just tied in straight up to the pre-app 1003, and we saw loan officers using this right off the bat to get additional applications. So I really dig that. So like I said, there's a couple things that he did that I thought really were successful. Number one, he was using the forwarded domain from GoDaddy. So that's what he uses on all of his marketing material. He's got edshomeloans.com. And then number two, he was using the sniply link on every single property website. I believe he has his assistant go in and add the snip once the property goes live. So pretty simple stuff. And like I said, I just started playing with it this morning because I just learned about this last week. But we want to share this with you guys right away because we think it's pretty cool. So.
And then the other part of it is, just since we're on topic, is domain mapping. So instead of having your pre-app / Michael Fisher 1003, that type of thing, this is again simple. If you guys haven't done it before, you could go to GoDaddy and get something that's easier for people to understand or easier for people to spell. Something short and easy, and then just domain map your pre-app on there. And so rather than going to that, it just goes to Brian's Loans or something like that, whatever's available. And when you go to, if you have not gone to GoDaddy and dealt with domain mapping before, a domain's going to cost you, $10 a year. I mean, it's what, $5. It's not going to cost you anything. So you can domain map, which I think is a great strategy. It's just easier for people to find and figure out. And then the other one is a sniply thing, which is just a cool little strategy. And obviously, you don't have to use your pre-app 1003 on this. I'm just assuming, it's going to create a link between these two sites with your little pop-up. So you could theoretically put anything you wanted up there. You could put your own property website. You could put your company's website there. You could put your blog there. You could put a video introduction of yourself or the real estate agent there. You could really put anything that you choose to. We just saw this as great functionality for pre-app 1003. So that's a great strategy, dude. It's great and to the point.
Yeah, we can expand. We could talk about it for 20 or 30 minutes, but it's pretty simple. You go into Sniply, create your profile, put the link, put the single property website in, and all of a sudden, folks have a chance to click. It's just one of those simple pop-up kind of things. So, yep. Just a piece of tech. I think we were talking about pre-app 1003 and listing booster launches with TJ last week, right? One of the things that he was talking about is whenever he's talking to a group of agents, he is having folks use his pre-app code and text right away when he first meets them to show them the technology and also to capture their phone numbers. So don't forget that when you're using pre-app 1003, that the cool part about the texting feature is that now you've captured the folks' phone numbers. So I do use the forwarded domain like Brian said, but I don't always want to use that because there are times where I'm walking in and I'm teaching a class, and the first thing I do when I open up the class is have everybody text the pre-app code. So now I've got every single agent's phone number, which I can go back and add to a text database for my realtors. So,
right.
Yep. So those are all pieces. I mean, you might not recognize every single phone number, but when you're creating a group text, especially if you're teaching agent classes and teaching agents how to do listing booster, that's a great way to do it. Now, I'm going to surprise you here, Brian. I didn't tell you this, but I'm going to be teaching a listing booster launch class tomorrow, and I'm going to try to put that live in Morgan Shots Kills. So just a 30-40 minute class where we put 5-10 agents in the room. We talk to them about the functionality, about how to show value to their sellers, about what features are most important, and about what they really need to know when it comes to getting more leads and working those leads. So
you're going to do this with the agents, local agents that you're working with, and you're going to be streaming.
Yep.
That'd be great to see, especially for somebody if you haven't had a chance to go present in front of a bunch of agents. That's great. And here's the thing, guys. When you look at your listing booster account, I mean, I did this all the time. But every real estate office in the country has weekly or biweekly sales meetings. I mean, every one of them does. And they're always looking for content providers. And they're always looking for ways to try to make their agents more successful. If you go in, if you haven't done presenting, and by the way, I recommend you watch what Fish is going to do tomorrow. But if you go into these offices, you can definitely get on the calendar of a bunch of these offices where you're showing Listing Booster to everybody. The other thing is you go to your boards, your local boards. Your local boards are always looking for content. They're always looking for people who can share interesting new technologies, so you can find a way to present in front of them. So check out what Michael's going to do tomorrow. That's a super, super great idea. Now, we're going to go through some questions here real quickly. If anybody has any questions on this or whatever we've covered previous weeks, make sure you just pop those in the question box down below. And as I told you, we're going to get you out of here quick, man. It's a great strategy. Snip.ly, get your free account. And we got some people with some thoughts on it. So Bernadette, we cannot hear you. We can see you. If there's any specific questions that you want answered, just feel free to pop those in. Sheila says that she can only hear music. All right. I hope it's good music. We're not playing any music over here, so I'm not sure about that one. Okay, Jeremy Strunk says, when the agent promotes the listing on their Facebook page, will the call, I think it's call to action, show up for everyone that reviews the post?
On the snip, when you're using Sniply, this is important. It's not going to automatically embed into the Listing Booster single property website. So what I was showing you a few minutes ago is a different web address, a different link that's not exactly the same as the single property website link. So if you're sharing your single property website link, you're not automatically going to see that snip. That snip is a different link. It's a forwarded link. It pulls the Listing Booster site and essentially puts a new page on top of it. So it's kind of a combined page where it's got the link at the bottom. So if you're using that to share, that will work for you and your team sharing. It won't work for the agent sharing unless the agent specifically is told to do it that way. So you would probably have to meet with your agents and explain to them, use this link instead of the other link. So I don't know that you're going to want to do that right away until you have a good relationship with that agent. This would be more for you as a loan officer sharing the single property websites in community groups, on your friends' pages, on your business page, on the sellers' pages. Everywhere that you personally share it, it's going to have a link back to you as a pre-app. So yeah, important distinction there. Good question.
Bernie says the standard account really limits the free clicks. So we don't know exactly how many clicks you're going to get there, but here's the good part about this, guys, is it really kind of lets you test drive it before you spend the $29 or whatever it costs. So start with a free account, and if you find that it's working for you, that you're getting traction on it, then maybe it's worth a $29 investment. Again, everybody who sells anything always says this. But if you close one transaction, it'll pay for itself. It's good. You close one transaction as a result of this, it'll pay for itself for the next decade and then some. But it's a great point. What I'd recommend is try it with a free account first, see if you get any traction, and at that point you might want to look at committing to the $29.
Now, this tip actually comes from folks that do a lot of social media, blogging, and sharing of different articles. Like, you can share an article from Zillow, and you can put your own snip link on top of it. So that's the way that we were originally introduced to snips, was folks using it for their own blog articles or for articles that they were sharing, and not just for things like Listing Booster sites. So keep in mind, it's a versatile tool. It doesn't have to be used with only Listing Booster. You can use it for any kind of article that you're sharing. So if you see a great article about millennial first-time homebuyers and you want to share that around your community, go ahead and put in a snip in there. And you might want to have a different call to action on that snip, but your call to action could be, realtors, click here to learn more about social media.
Right, you can put anything in there. It's got massive functionality. It's a great point. Okay, so Todd says, is this going to be on Facebook Live, or are you going to be streaming on the Mortgage Shots Kills website? This will be streaming from Mortgage Shots Kills on Facebook. So if you're a part of Mortgage Shots Kills, you should have the Kills Facebook page as well. And so all you have to do is go to Mortgage Shots Kills Facebook site. And what time are you doing that at? One more time?
That is tomorrow, 11 Eastern. I'll be doing that.
Okay.
I'll put a post in Mortgage Shots Kills to remind folks. And I call that my standard Listing Booster launch. That's actually, I'm sorry, that's not tomorrow, that's Thursday. So I'll put a reminder out there that I'm doing that Thursday at 11 o'clock. and I'll go ahead and I'll go live in the Mortgage Shots Kills group, just like we had a live hangout in there just a couple days ago. So it'll just be Facebook Live with me presenting, and I've done dozens of these, but this will just be our standard listing booster launch, where we just show agents again how to get started and how to use the tools as effectively as possible. Now, last thing to add on that, our call to action for that particular listing booster launch wasn't come learn listing booster and then a list of benefits and features. The call to action was provide more value to your sellers, get more leads, and close more transactions. Learn how. That's exactly how we'll have a good number of folks in the room. I already know we got 15 to 16 confirmed. So, but we went about it by talking about the end game, what we're going to be able to provide for the agents, and not just the tools that we're using to provide it. So much easier to fill a room when you talk about leads and generating leads and closing deals than when you're talking about the tech that goes into it.
Right. No, that's a great point. So we'll make sure we'll do that. And then tomorrow, me and Fish are going to go back live into Kills as well. So if you want to jump in on there, we're going to be talking about our week 1 strategy for our coaching, just kind of going over different tips on how you can make those calls that you need to make. So anyways, I think we're done here, dude. 22 minutes. We got a great little strategy in here. We know you're going to go live Thursday, which is cool. Domain mapping, that's a great idea. So work with us, guys. Give it a shot and see if you get any traction on it. And with that said, we will catch you next Tuesday. Have a great day and happy selling. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job, Fish.
Thanks.